Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. I'm very excited about today's video. So today, June 18th, I'm not sure when I'm uploading this video, but today when I'm filming marks my 3-year anniversary starting Hand Glam, my Instagram, and y'all, I know I'm so small, like I only have 3,000 followers, but to me it means the world. Hand Glam has been the best outlet I could have ever asked for to express my creativity, my love for makeup, and to just grow and to improve my skill and to really bond with y'all. I mean, it's because of y'all that I even started this YouTube over here. Y'all asked for it so much that I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. But yeah, I thought this would be a great opportunity to react to one of my first ever tutorials. That's right, y'all. I did make tutorials before I was over here on YouTube, and it was on my Snapchat. So this is back in 2017. I used to make Snapchat makeup tutorials, and like I would have like photos and be like, these are the products I'm using. And I will warn y'all, like I have those products up for a while because I've set it on like a 10-second timer. So I might have to cut some of this out, but I'll talk in some of it too, and you'll see like it's very 2017. My face is in like half of it when I'm showing y'all because I was very embarrassed. Like I was nervous. This was my first time coming on camera and like talking about makeup. I discovered my love for makeup in 2016. I remember it distinctly. I wasn't into makeup like my whole life. I really started getting into it my senior year of high school. And that's when I stumbled upon Tati Westbrook on YouTube and I just fell in love with her. She was the first beauty guru I started watching and I just became hooked on her videos and then I just started buying everything that she recommended and then I became obsessed with makeup. So from 2016 to 2017, I was just like testing out makeup. Like I remember that was around the first time I ever tried a highlighter and like experimenting with blush and bronzer, and I wasn't experimenting with colorful eyeshadow though at this point. Obviously now I'm like a color queen, but at this point it was like browns and neutrals and that's it, and you will see later in the video. But I know I'm talking a lot and I should just play it, but I just wanted to give you all like a little background. So this was from 2017 on my Snapchat. And I was nervous, okay? I'm like trying to change my voice and like trying to sound cool and like whatever, and I don't know. We'll get to that, okay? But yeah, let's just get started. I'll put it up here. Okay. Let me know if I should do a makeup too. I would always post that and I would get like 2 people responding. Okay, a lot of people have said yes. I still use that H2O face wash. It is so good. And African black soap is good. So next you're going to want to get a primer to prepare your face for the makeup. My favorites are the Hangover RX by Too Faced and the Smashbox. I don't use either of those anymore. But I do really like that Hangover primer. It is really nice if you have dry skin. And just a couple other things. This primer by L'Oreal is really good if you want like an all-over glow. And then here are some good smoothing primers. So I just put the Hangover RX primer all over my face, and I'm just going to put this around my nose and my chin. Tip for pore minimizing primers, pat it in instead of like rubbing it in, because that way it'll really fill your pores. Okay, pause. So I still do that technique. I still do like a hydrating primer all over my face and then like a pore filling primer, and I still also do that technique with the press it in and don't blend it. So okay, we're still doing normal things here. Nothing too crazy has changed. So for foundation, I love mixing the Hourglass stick foundation with my favorite drugstore foundation, the Revlon Color Stay. So now that I just used these 2, I'll go in with my Revlon foundation, just dot it all over my face and blend it out with a damp beauty blender. I did do that a lot, but I would never use that. Oh my god, I hate both of those foundations now. They're full coverage, really dewy finish, and I mix the white into this one because I'm too pale. Those are terrible. So for concealer, I use the Tarte Shape Tape and the Kat Von D Lock-It. They are terrible. Same thing, I mix these 2 together because the lightest shade is too dark for me. That is something I definitely don't do anymore. I do not mix white concealer in with my concealer. I think back then I was just making myself look even paler, and now I'm like adding warmth to the skin, and I've learned how to really do that without making myself look orange. And just back in the day I was just like, I'm pale, so I need to be super pale, and I just, not anymore, honey. Okay, I know I look ridiculous, but you just put this in the places you want to highlight or conceal, and then you can blend it out with a... You hear the way I'm talking? I don't talk like
Now we're
that.
gonna set under our eyes where you put the concealer. I recommend a loose translucent setting powder.
I still agree.
It just does the best job in my opinion. Okay, so I chose to use the RCA
Another
Pure
white powder.
Change the color of my skin.
Pure white.
Change the color of my skin. It's kind of hard to tell. The Laura Mercier powder.
I hated that powder.
And if I use that to set underneath my eyes, it'll turn the skin under my eyes yellow. Same thing goes for the Coty Airspun.
Now that I think about it, I think the reason I hated that Laura Mercier powder so much is because I made my under eyes so white with that white concealer that, yeah, the Laura Mercier had like a yellow tint to it, but I'm sure on like anybody normal, it would just go away to nothing. And on me, since it was so white, it of course left a yellow tint, but now I'm sure it'd be fine because I don't make my under eyes that bright anymore.
I have a little bit on my brush. And
Look how pale. I am so white.
660 brush to do this. Here's a little tip, just put the loose powder wherever you put the concealer. Don't put it all over your face because you're gonna end up looking too powdery.
I still do that.
It's out, and then I'm gonna bake. I'm gonna take my wet beauty blender and dip it into the powder. Just
You can tell I'm talking so fast
literally just take the sponge with the powder on it and you put it wherever you put the
because I was on a timer on Snapchat
your makeup lasts all day.
all
I
day.
know I look crazy and way paler than usual, but you just let this sit for like 5 to 10 minutes and then you can wipe it away with any brush that you want.
I still have that brush, y'all. It's the OG.
We've set the under eyes. You're gonna want to set the rest of your face. For this, I don't
Talking so fast.
use powder. Just like I said, it'll make it too powdery. I have two options right here.
I don't do any of this anymore.
More high-end powder, and then the Rimmel Stay Matte if you're on a budget. I'm gonna go with the Makeup Forever just because I don't know, that's what I'm in the mood for. And then I'm just gonna grab
That powder sucks. I don't know why I said it's amazing. That powder sucks. Bad recommendation, Hannah.
So like I said, you just take this powder and put it wherever you didn't put the loose powder, which is typically around the perimeters of your face.
Yes, Hannah, it is important to set.
Okay, so here's one of my favorite tips.
Hold. If y'all have been hearing that like beeping in the background, it was our fire like alarm or fire, I don't know, extinguisher sound alarm. I can't remember the name of it, but it would not stop going off because we needed to change the batteries so bad. And finally, I got so many people messaging me on my Snapchat, like, what is that noise? That I just like removed all the batteries so they would stop. They don't have new batteries in them. They just don't have batteries in them at all anymore. And my house was burned down from a fire before, so maybe we should like put batteries in there. I'm sure it's fine. Okay. Anyway, side note, that's what that beeping is.
You set your entire face before you go in with bronzer or anything. Take MAC Fix Plus or any kind of setting spray. Literally spray it all over your face and then press it in with a sponge. That way it really gets into your skin and doesn't just lay on top of your face hairs. Okay, so the reason I did that, when you put powder,
Still do that.
it takes away the glowiness from your foundation, and this just gives it that skin-like finish again. Okay,
Very good, Hannah.
we can actually move on to the rest of my face. This is so not necessary, but I'm so pale, I just go over my entire face with a bronzer to give it some color. So I'm using the Hoola Light, and the reason I'm using this is because it is such a light bronzer. Like, look at that. It won't
Still do that.
orange or anything. It'll just give me color. With my Morphe R2 brush, I'm just gonna dip it in and put it all over my face.
Same brush. Love this brush.
Okay, cool. Now that I've done that, I have three options for bronzers that really bronze up the face. This one by Milani, this one by Physicians Formula, and this one by Glamour. Okay, this one is a little too orange for my skin. This one has a little bit of shimmer, which I like, but I think I'm just gonna go with the Butter Bronzer. It smells like coconuts. I love it.
The Glamour Dolls bronzer is actually not too deep for my skin. I ended up trying it out later on and I loved it. It became one of my favorite bronzers of all time. And then they went out of business and finally I found it on a resale site. So I was able to purchase it again a couple years later. And I love that bronzer. The Milani bronzer I used in my products I hate video and I still don't like it. And the butter bronzer is actually still a favorite.
Okay, so when you're bronzing the skin, you just kind of go around the perimeters of your face, like the forehead, your cheekbone, and your neck. Okay, so for contouring, I either use this palette right here, I got it in a BoxyCharm 1 month, or this is actually a blush by NYX, but I use it as a contour.
Yeah. I never understood how that was a blush.
I have my favorite contour brush ever. This is the Jumbo Kabuki Fan Brush by Crown Brushes. I just dip it in here.
It's a good brush for contour.
Okay, for contouring, you're gonna want to go right in the hollows of your cheeks. I always blend upward, that way it lifts my cheeks instead of downward.
Still true, okay.
I contour my forehead because I don't want my forehead looking too big, and then I usually cut my contour off right here because I don't want my nose looking too long.
Look at me like flexing. I got all my blushes out. Time for blush.
Okay, for blush, these are just a couple of my favorites. I like the mauve tone blushes because I feel like the pink tone ones are just too clowny on me. Okay, so I chose this mauve shade by Milani.
I just didn't know how to use it. I thought that because I was so pale that the colors that I could use were limited, which is so false.
And I'm gonna apply this with my Lisa Frank brush by Glamour Dolls. You're just gonna apply this right above the contour.
Okay, for blush, you're just gonna apply it like right back here. A lot of people put most of it on the apples of their cheeks. That's just gonna weigh your face down. I focus most of my blush back here above my contour, and then I put a little bit on the apples of my cheeks just to like brighten up the face. Okay, now it's time for the best part, which is highlighting. I have so many. I have 2 drawers dedicated to this, and I also have some liquid highlights up here. Okay, out of all my highlights, this one is definitely my favorite. This is in Rodeo Drive by Ofra, and it's just like, oh my god. Okay, so for highlighting, you're just going to put it on the high points of your face, like your cheekbones, your nose, your chin, your forehead, and your Cupid's bow, which is my favorite.
Okay, cool. So last, before moving on to eyes, you want to set your face. Same thing goes as earlier. Once you spray this, just pat it in with a damp sponge.
I don't use that anymore.
Okay, so setting your face will make sure your makeup lasts all day.
All day?
And with a sponge, we'll get rid of the powdery finish. Okay, now moving on to eyes. I keep all my eyeshadow palettes down here. I have a bunch of them. So yeah,
as if that's a lot. And I would never use those eyeshadow primers anymore. The amount of eyeshadow palettes I have now compared to that is comical.
I keep all my eye brushes in this little thing I got from Target, and today I'm going to be using the Violet Ball
Plus 3 more behind the camera.
Morphe and Kathleen Lights palette. Alright, going into this palette, I'm going to take my MAC.
I still have that palette, but I sold the other one.
Set all over my lid where we put the primer.
Yeah, I sold that one.
Eyeshadow looks are the mauve tone ones, so for this I'm going to go into this color right here for my transition shade. And for
It's such an old palette. If you remember either of those, like, you're an OG.
To deepen up the look, I'm going to go back with my Morphe 224 brush, and I'm going to take this darker mauve shade and just put it on the outer corner.
Oh my god.
I'm taking my Morphe E18 brush, and I'm going to dip into whiskers. I'm going to put this on the outer corner of my eye again to make it even darker. Alright, next I'm going to dip into this color right here and put it all over my lid. I'm going to spray my brush.
I just use my finger now.
To intensify the color.
Is that it? Just the brown and mauve don't really go together that well. That's it? That's see, I did not.
Okay, that's all I really do for eyeshadow. If I'm in a real big rush, I'll just put one color all over my lid. But I usually don't do eyeliner, so I'm just gonna go straight.
Excuse me? No. Hand glam would never.
Okay, so I didn't do it today, but typically I'll take a color like this and put it in my waterline just to brighten up my eye.
I don't use either of those anymore.
Okay, I don't always fill in my brows, but if I do, I'll use the NYX brow pencil or the Benefit Gimme Brow, but today I'm just going to use clear brow gel.
I used to do that all the time. Oh my god, y'all, and I did not do my eyebrows. Are you for real? Like I would just do clear brow gel, and I was like, sometimes I'll do my eyebrows. I never do my eyebrows. Okay, back then I just wouldn't do them. Like, can you imagine? No, I can't. Like my face would be like non-existent.
Hey y'all, I have an entire bag full of lip products.
I still do.
Right here, but this one right here is my favorite. It's by L'Oreal.
Okay, y'all, so that is it. If you watched this whole thing, thank you so much. I know it was a lot. And yeah, I'm done.
What kind of outro was that? Okay, and then I got a little selfie where I look flat and white as a ghost. Okay, y'all, well, there you have it. That was my first Snapchat makeup tutorial. And honestly, I do a lot of the same techniques, but I hardly use any of those products anymore. And I just know so much more about my skin and my skin tone and what works for me and what doesn't. Back then, I was just experimenting. Like, I literally didn't know anything. And I just thought this would be a fun video for me to do for my 3-year Hang Glam anniversary, to see how much I've grown and see, you know, things that I do differently. And I think this was before I created my Hang Glam account. Although this was 3 years ago, I made it in 2017. This was before my Hang Glam account actually got up and going. So I was just a little baby. But if there's anything that y'all get out of this video, just know that you are not limited to the colors that you can use based off of your skin tone. Like, I always thought that because I was a pale redhead that I couldn't wear pink, or that I couldn't wear blue, or these crazy colors, or that they wouldn't look good on me. And it's all so false. I thought that I couldn't wear pink blush, I could only wear mauve blush, and all this BS. You can wear whatever you want and you can rock it. And I just hope that y'all can see the growth that I've experienced, that y'all have pushed me to do. It just means the world to me that y'all support me and that y'all watch me and that you like my Hang Glam pics and that you are constantly DMing me and all these things. Like, I seriously love you, and I hope that y'all will stick around for, you know, my 6-year anniversary. But other than that, y'all, that's all I have today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.